Breaking news. Medvedev of Russia has hinted at further Russian aggression against Ukrainian ports. In response to Ukraine's attacks on Russian ships in the Black Sea, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev threatened to hand Ukraine an ecological catastrophe on Saturday, suggesting Moscow would launch more strikes against Ukrainian ports. After Ukrainian sea drone attacks on a Russian warship in the port of Novorossiysk and against a tanker near Crimea, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014, Medvedev, who was deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, chaired by President Vladimir Putin, spoke out. Medvedev attended a Security Council meeting on Friday presided over by Putin in response to the attack on Novorossiysk, in which the Russian Navy landing ship Olenogorsky Gornyak was reportedly severely damaged. Only lowlifes and weirdos can be taught through brutality and force. They obviously weren't satisfied with the strikes on Odessa, Izmail, and other cities, Medvedev wrote on his official social media accounts. The Black Sea port of Odessa, where the Ukrainian Navy is headquartered, and the Danube River port of Izmail, Ukraine's main inland port across from Romania, have both been attacked by Russia in recent weeks, resulting in damage to port infrastructure and grain facilities. After a Ukrainian strike on the bridge connecting Russia and Crimea, in which the teenage girl's parents were killed, Moscow withdrew from an agreement that had allowed for the safe export of Ukrainian grain via the Black Sea, and Moscow then began attacking Ukrainian ports. Russia has said it will only return to the grain deal once an agreement to facilitate the export of Russian grain and fertilizers is implemented, despite pressure from the United Nations and some Western and African countries. Any hope of reviving the grain deal, according to Medvedev, would be dashed if Russia retaliated with strikes against Ukraine for its sea drone attacks. If the Kyiv scum want to create an ecological disaster in the Black Sea, they should get one on the part of their territory that will soon fall to Poland and that will stink for centuries after, Medvedev said. That verdict, regarding the grain transaction, will be final for them. What exactly Medvedev meant by an ecological disaster was unclear. Top Russian security officials have implied, without providing evidence, that Polish troops will be deployed to western Ukraine at some point, while Russia keeps and grows the territory it annexed from Ukraine unilaterally in the south and east. Kyiv, which is launching a counteroffensive, has reiterated its intention to retake all of Ukraine. Several Chinese nationals were denied entry to Russia, and the Chinese embassy in Moscow strongly condemned the brutal treatment they received at the hands of Russian authorities. The embassy made the statement on WeChat, China's most popular social media platform, on Friday. Russia's brutal and excessive law enforcement activities in this incident have seriously violated the legitimate rights and interests of the Chinese citizens, the Post read. The embassy reported that on July 29, when 5 citizens tried to cross the Russia-Kazakhstan border, they were repeatedly questioned for 4 hours at a checkpoint. The legation informed them that their entry had been denied and that their tourist visas had been revoked. Presidents Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin declared their no limits friendship last year, so the rare criticism stands in stark contrast. As bilateral economic ties between China and its northern neighbor have steadily strengthened, China has been a prominent voice in refusing to condemn Putin's invasion of Ukraine. After reviewing a video provided by those involved, embassy officials said they had contacted the Russian Foreign Ministry, Federal Security Bureau, and Federal Border Guard Service. After demanding an explanation, the Chinese embassy continued by saying, "It goes against the big picture of Sino-Russian friendship and the growing trend of friendly people-to-people exchanges between the two countries." Days before Russia invaded Ukraine last year, Putin and Xi issued a joint statement in Beijing declaring there were no forbidden zones in cooperation between their countries. The diplomatic language used in the post by the Chinese embassy is more typical of protests directed at the West. A commenter on the thread demanded that Russia explain the cause of the incident, take active measures to eliminate the bad influence, and ensure that similar incidents will not recur in the future. Russia must conduct a further investigation into the excessive law enforcement activities by border guards and provide the Chinese side a satisfactory answer, the embassy said. The comments were made a few days after a Chinese influencer with nearly 1 million followers on Douyin, China's answer to TikTok, posted a video detailing his experience at the Russia-Kazakhstan border. "The broad and profound friendship between Russia and China is now clear to us," he said.